The DNA result that shattered everything. I didn't know it then, but the email sitting in my inbox at 6:14 a.m. would break open my entire childhood like a cracked bone. I remember the glow of my phone screen against the dark bedroom. The house was quiet, too quiet for a Tuesday. I'd taken one of those fun DNA tests on a bored whim, expecting nothing more than a colorful pie chart telling me I was 30% this, 20% that. Instead, at the top of the report was a notification I didn't understand at first. You have 7 new close family matches. Close, family, matches. My brain snagged on the word 7. The air suddenly felt different, thicker, like the room had shrunk around me. I sat up slowly, my heart tapping fast against my ribs, the way it did the night Dad went into the hospital and never came back out. I clicked the first match. Predicted relationship. Half-sibling. Age, 32. Location, Phoenix. Name, Aaron. My breath stalled. The second one was a man in Ohio. The third, a woman barely older than me. The fourth, same last name as one of Dad's old coworkers. The fifth, the sixth, the seventh. By the time I reached the bottom of the list, my hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. Dad was many things, strict, old-fashioned, stubborn to a fault, but he wasn't this. He wasn't a man who left 7 children scattered like landmines across the country. Unless I'd never known him at all. I sat there in the half-dark, feeling the world tilt under me like a floor suddenly giving way. And then the notifications began. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 7 messages. From 7 strangers. All arriving within 60 seconds. The first one opened with, "E. I think we need to talk." The second, "I've known about you for years. Did he ever mention us?" My stomach dropped so hard I felt nauseous. The third, "Please don't freak out. This is real. We've all been waiting." Waiting? For what? For me? A cold ripple ran up my back. I stared at those messages until the screen dimmed, and for a moment I forgot how to breathe. I didn't respond. Couldn't respond. Not when every part of me felt like a mirror someone had smashed with a baseball bat. That was when Mom knocked on my door. A soft, hesitant knock. The kind she used when she already knew something was wrong. "Sweetheart? You're up early." I swallowed hard, wiping the panic off my face before I opened the door. She was still in her robe, hair messy, eyes tired. Ever since Dad passed last year, she'd aged a decade. Her gaze moved to the phone in my hand. "What's going on?" I should have lied. I wanted to, but my voice betrayed me. "Mom, how many kids did Dad actually have?" The blood drained from her face. Completely, utterly. It was the first time I'd ever seen her look afraid of me. What are you talking about?" she whispered. I turned the screen toward her. 7 faces. 7 names. 7 truths she clearly wished had stayed buried. Her hand flew to her mouth, and for a second, she couldn't speak. How did you? "DNA test," I said quietly. "For fun." Her knees buckled slightly, and she braced herself against the doorframe. "Oh God," she whispered. I prayed this day would never come. The next few seconds were thick, suffocating silence. The kind that feels like a pressure building behind your ears. "Mom," I said softly, "tell me the truth." She looked away. Her shoulders trembled, and then something inside her seemed to collapse. "Your father," she exhaled shakily. "Your father had a life before me. A messy one. I didn't move, didn't blink. He made mistakes," she continued. "Big ones. Ones he swore were over when we married. Mistakes. That's what she called 7 children? Why didn't he tell me?" My voice cracked. "Why didn't you?" She closed her eyes, and for a moment, she didn't look like my mother. She looked like a woman carrying a secret she should have set down decades ago. "Because he made me promise," she whispered. "And because I thought maybe it would never catch up to you." I felt something hot and furious rise in my chest. "So you both lied," I said. "For my whole life." Her lips trembled. Yes. The sound that came out of me wasn't a word. It wasn't even fully human. It was grief, betrayal, anger, all twisted together into something raw. But before I could say anything else, buzz, my phone lit up again. This time it wasn't one of them. It was a new message from an unknown number. And I swear my heart froze when I read it. Don't believe what they say. Your dad wasn't who you think he was. Call me before you talk to any of them. This is bigger than you know. Bigger than I know? How could it possibly be bigger? Who is it? Mom asked quietly. I didn't answer. I was staring at the area code. One I hadn't seen in years. The town where Dad grew up. The town he avoided. The town he never spoke about except once. And even then he'd gone pale just saying the name. The phone buzzed again. Please. Before someone gets hurt. My pulse thundered in my ears. My hands felt cold, numb. Someone gets hurt? Mom. I whispered. Who would send this? She looked at the message. Her face drained of every last ounce of color. Oh God, she breathed.
No.
Not her. Her who? I demanded. But she wasn't listening. She was shaking now, full body trembling, as she backed away like the phone itself was dangerous. You need to block that number. Right now. No, I said. Who is she? She closed her eyes in agony. She's someone your father swore was gone from our lives forever. Someone who nearly destroyed us once. The walls felt like they were closing in. What did Dad do? I whispered. Mom opened her eyes slowly. And for the first time in my life, she looked at me with fear. Not of me, but for me. Sweetheart, nothing about your father was simple. Nothing. Before I could press her further, buzz, another message. This one from one of the half-siblings. We need to talk urgently, before she contacts you again. My heart lurched. Again, my mouth went dry. Mom, I said, voice trembling. What exactly did Dad hide from us? She swallowed. Hard. He promised me you'd never have to know. Well, I whispered, staring at the 7 names. The unknown woman, the warning, that promise didn't hold. She reached for me, but I stepped back. Please, she said softly, don't go digging into this. Not yet. Not alone. But it was already too late, because in the center of my phone screen was a new notification. A photo. Sent from the unknown woman. A blurry picture of Dad. Standing with a woman I'd never seen. Holding a baby that wasn't me. Dated just 5 years before I was born. My throat tightened. My fingers went cold. And then I saw the message beneath it. Ask your mother who this baby is. She won't tell you the truth. But I will. Speech balloon if you've ever had a moment where everything you believed about your family cracked open. You know exactly what this feels like. And if you're here, I see you. Drop a broken heart so I know I'm not alone. I lifted my eyes to Mom. She was crying now. Silent, terrified tears. Mom. I whispered. Who is that baby? Her answer came out as a broken sob. I can't. Not yet. Not like this. I stared at the photo again. Dad looking younger, colder, almost unrecognizable. My breath trembled out of me, because suddenly I knew something with absolute certainty. This wasn't just about 7 half-siblings. This was about a life my father lived in the shadows. A life that was bleeding into mine. And the woman texting me? I had a feeling she was about to blow everything else wide open. Mom grabbed my wrist. Please, she begged. Do not call her. She will destroy us. But my phone buzzed again. You deserve to know the truth. And this time, I couldn't stop myself. I pressed dial. I didn't even hear the first ring. My hands were shaking too hard. My breath too loud in my ears. By the time the call connected, I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff with no railing. Hello. My voice cracked. For a second, there was only static. Faint, like someone breathing close to the speaker. Then a woman's voice, soft, worn, and trembling, slipped through. You called. 3 words. And the bottom of my stomach dropped. Her voice carried this strange familiarity, the kind that makes your brain search a memory you're sure you don't have. Who are you? I asked quietly. She exhaled shakily. Someone who knew your father long before you were born. My mother stiffened in the doorway, eyes wide, her hand covering her mouth. She mouthed, "Hang up, please." But I didn't. "Why are you contacting me?" I whispered. "Because," the woman said, "you deserve to understand the kind of man your father really was." My pulse thudded violently. "I don't want stories or gossip," I said. "I want the truth." "Oh," she murmured darkly. "This isn't gossip." There was a rustle on her end. "Papers, maybe. Or photos." Then she said something that turned my bones to ice. "I was the first woman he lied to." My mother gasped. I gripped the phone tighter. "What do you mean?" But the woman didn't answer directly. Instead, she said my father's full name, the one people rarely used. And then, she said her name, a name I'd never heard before, a name that made my mother stagger back like she'd been hit. "No, mam whispered. No, 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 she's lying. She's lying." But the woman on the phone kept talking, calm and steady, as if she were reading a eulogy. "He didn't tell you about me, or about the others, or about our daughter." The world sharpened around me. "Daughter. Wait." My throat tightened. "Are you saying one of the 7 is—" "No," she cut in softly. "My daughter never took a DNA test." My vision blurred for a second. "Then why are you calling me now?" This time her voice cracked. "Because she found out about you." My breath hitched. "And she wants to meet you." Behind me, my mother shook her head violently. "No. You stay away from them. Do you hear me? Stay away." I stepped away from her. "Why?" I asked. "What could they possibly want from me?" "Closure," the woman whispered. "Answers. Maybe forgiveness." A sick, cold feeling spread through my chest. Forgiveness for what? Silence. Then, "For what your father did to all of us." The back of my neck prickled. "What did he do?" This time, her answer was barely a whisper. "He didn't just leave families behind. He ruined them." My mother grabbed the phone out of my hand. "Listen to me," she snapped. "You stay away from my child. You've caused enough damage for a lifetime." The woman didn't raise her voice. Not even a little. "Hello, Margaret." Mom froze. Hearing her name spoken like that, flat, cold, familiar, made my skin crawl. "I see you're still trying to rewrite history," the woman continued. "You don't get to speak to me," Mom said, voice shaking now. "Not after what your husband did." The woman cut in sharply. The tension snapped like a live wire. "Mom," I whispered, "give me the phone." She held it against her chest, shaking her head like a child refusing medicine. "You don't understand. You don't know who she is. You don't know what she—" But her voice broke, and she couldn't finish. She was terrified. Not distressed. Not guilty. Terrified. Finally, she lowered the phone and handed it back to me with trembling fingers. The woman spoke again the moment I raised it. "I'm sorry you heard that," she said. "Margaret and our history is messy. Messy." That was one hell of a word for the fear I'd just seen in my mother's eyes. "What do you want from me?" I asked. Her breath hitched. "Just to meet. Once. There are things you need to know. Things your mother will never tell you." I felt myself stepping backward, my spine hitting the edge of my dresser. "What kinds of things?" A long pause. Then, "There are more of you." The room spun. My heart crashed into my ribs. "More? What do you mean more?" "You think there were 7? She said quietly. "Oh, sweetheart, 7 is nothing." I felt actually nauseous. But then something shifted in her tone. Something urgent. "You need to understand this before you talk to any of the others. Before they twist it. Before they get to you first." "Who?" I whispered. "The other siblings?" She sucked in a sharp breath. No, her voice dropped. His family. My skin crawled. What family? A beat of silence. The one he abandoned before all of us. My breath tore in and out. I don't. What are you talking about? But the woman didn't respond. Instead, she said, "Look in your father's desk. The top drawer. Under the false bottom." I froze. "How do you know about that?" "I know everything about him," she whispered. "More than anyone alive. Why would there be a false?" I'm not saying another word over the phone. Too many people have access to these lines. My heart stopped. Access to these lines? What the hell was she talking about? "Please," she said, voice breaking now. "Just meet me. For your own sake." "Why me?" I croaked. "Why not the others?" Her answer came out like a confession she'd been waiting years to speak. "Because you're the only one he loved." My blood ran cold. "Tomorrow morning," she added quickly. 9 o'clock. I'll text you the address." I opened my mouth to respond, but the line went dead. I stood there for what felt like minutes, the silent phone still pressed to my ear. My mother's breathing was shaky behind me. Finally, she spoke. "You are not meeting her." I turned to her slowly. "Who is she, Mom?" Her eyes filled. Guilt, grief, fear mixing into something jagged. "She is the reason your father almost lost everything," she whispered. "She is the reason we moved. The reason we hid. The reason—" She stopped, swallowed. "The reason your father was never the same." My heart thudded harder. "What did Dad do?" She closed her eyes. "What he always did," she said. "What he couldn't stop doing."
Hier.
"Are you telling me Dad had what? Affairs?" "Affairs that created." She opened her eyes sharply. "This isn't about cheating." Then her voice dropped to a whisper. "It's about the kind of man he was before he became your father." I didn't move. What kind of man was he? Her jaw clenched. "The kind who broke people." A shiver ran up my spine. "The kind," she continued, "who made promises he never intended to keep." I swallowed, my throat thick. "Mom," I whispered, "how many kids did Dad really have?" She didn't answer. Not with words. Her expression. Pain, fear, resignation was the answer. My phone buzzed. A new message. From one of the half-siblings. "We need to talk before you meet her. She's dangerous." My chest tightened. Dangerous? Before I could react, another message came in. Another sibling. "Don't meet her alone. Please." Then another. "Call me.
Urgent.
Mom stepped closer, voice trembling. "You have no idea what you're walking into." I stared at the phone, at the notifications, at the truth clawing its way to the surface. Then I said the words that made my mother flinch. "I'm going to that meeting." "No," she whispered, reaching for me. But I pulled my hand away. "I need answers." Mom shook her head again and again, tears falling freely now. "She will destroy you," she whispered, "just like she destroyed your father." I didn't look away from the phone. Maybe I need to know why. Another vibration. The woman had sent the address. A single line beneath it. "Come alone." My blood chilled. And then, just as I lowered the phone, a final message from an unknown number appeared. "If you go to that address, you won't come back the same." I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that address the woman sent me. Just a simple street name and number, nothing remarkable, but it sat in my chest like a loaded gun. By 10:42 p.m., the house was dark, the kind of stillness that makes you hyper-aware of your own heartbeat. Mom had retreated to her room hours ago after begging me. Again, not to go. She didn't yell, didn't threaten. She just cried in this exhausted, broken way that made me want to crawl out of my own skin. But no amount of pleading could drown out the buzzing chaos of my phone. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Half-siblings. Unknown numbers. Messages stacking like bricks. At first, I tried to read them one at a time. Then 10 at a time. Then I gave up entirely. But every new message came with the same tone, fear. Do not meet her. She's lying. Don't trust anything she says. Call me. It's not safe. Not safe. That phrase was becoming a drumbeat. Around midnight, my phone buzzed again. I glanced down. New group chat created. Dad's Kids. Created by one of the matches, Aaron. 7 people added. My heart stopped for a beat. I hesitated, then opened it.
Instant chaos.
Aaron, okay, she's contacted him. We need to talk now. Liam. You sure it's her? Aaron. She sent a picture of their dad. It's definitely her. Maria. Why him though? Tom. Because he was the favorite. Obviously. Maria. Shut up, Tom. We don't even know that. Aaron, guys. Focus. Liam. We need to warn him.
Tom? No.
He needs to hear the real version. Maria. Oh God. Not this again. Liam. Don't start. Tom. I'm not starting. She's the one who... Aaron, enough. He's here. My throat tightened. Then a new message appeared directly to me. Aaron, to me only, we need to talk before morning. Please. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Me? Why me? Why am I in the middle of this? It didn't take her 10 seconds. Aaron, because you're the only one he kept. Aaron, because you lived the life none of us got. Aaron, because she will use that against you. I stared at those words until the room felt smaller. Kept. Lived. Use. They all felt wrong. Heavy. I typed slowly. Me. What does she want from me? Her reply came instantly. Aaron. She wants you to hate him. My chest constricted. Me. Why would she want that? There was a long pause, too long. Then, Aaron, because it's the only way she can win. A knot formed in my stomach. Me win what? This time she didn't answer right away. And when the 3 dots finally appeared, my pulse jumped. Aaron. The fight she started 35 years ago. I was about to ask more when another message popped up. This time from an unknown number. Not the woman. Not Aaron. Someone different. Unknown. She's lying to all of you. Unknown. None of you know what your father really did. Unknown. But I do. My breath caught. Before I could reply, I got another. Unknown. And if you meet her tomorrow, she'll make sure you never hear my side. I sat up straighter. Me? Who is this? A pause. Then, unknown. Someone who survived him. Unknown? Barely. I swallowed hard. Me? What does that mean? What happened? This time, instead of a text, an image appeared. A blurred newspaper clipping. A headline I couldn't fully read. A date from decades ago. A familiar last name. My father's. My hands trembled as I zoomed in, trying to read the details, but the scan was too grainy. Me, what happened? What is this? The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. Appeared, then disappeared again. Finally, unknown. I'll tell you tomorrow. Unknown. If you choose the right person to meet. My heart thudded painfully. 2 choices. 2 strangers. 2 versions of my father's past. And all of it hinged on one morning. At 1:17 a.m., I got another message. This time from Liam, one of the half-brothers. Liam. Don't let any of them pressure you. Liam. But be careful. Liam. People get hurt when they start digging into this family. A chill ran up my spine. Me? What do you mean hurt? The pause that followed was long. Then, Liam. Look up the date on that clipping. Liam. Look up the name under it. Liam. And ask your mom who they were. My eyes flicked to the nightstand where Mom's door was cracked open. Faint light spilling out from her room. She was awake. I could feel it. But I couldn't ask her. Not yet. Not without understanding what I was stepping into. Me. Why don't you just tell me? His reply came instantly. Liam. Because it's not my story to tell. Liam. But it will be yours soon. My stomach twisted. I typed again. Me. Can someone just tell me the truth about Dad? But the chat went silent. Completely silent. 7 half-siblings. A mysterious woman. An unknown sender. My mother. Each one knew a different piece of the truth. Each one wanted me to hear their version first. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I felt like a rope being pulled in every direction. Like my father's ghost was standing somewhere in the dark, laughing at the mess he left behind. The silence pressed in. Until, buzz. One final message. From the woman I was supposed to meet in the morning. Just one sentence.
No greeting. No explanation.
Just, you should know. Your father promised me he'd come back. A shiver ripped through me. I stared at the words until the screen dimmed. Then, just as I set the phone down, buzz, a second message. And he never broke a promise to me. I froze. My breathing stopped. Because if that was true, if Dad had promised her something so huge, then everything Mom told me, everything I thought I knew, might already be shattered beyond repair. And the clock on my nightstand changed to 2 a.m., glowing red like a warning. In 7 hours, I'd have to choose who to believe. And I had a feeling that choice would decide more than just whose story I heard first. It might decide which version of my father and which version of myself I walked away with. I didn't plan on talking to Mom that morning. I wanted to slip out before sunrise, avoid her questions, avoid the fight. But she was already sitting at the kitchen table when I walked in, hair unbrushed, eyes swollen, a mug of coffee untouched in front of her. She looked like she'd been awake all night. "Sit," she whispered. I hesitated. She pointed to the chair across from her. "Please," he said. For a long time she didn't speak. The silence stretched thin, so thin I thought it might snap. Then she finally lifted her eyes to mine, and the look there, God, it hurt. "I knew this day would come," she said softly, "but I prayed I'd be dead before it did." My throat tightened. "Mom."
No.
"Let me talk." Her voice cracked. "You deserve at least that." She clasped her shaking hands together, grounding herself. "You want to know the truth about your father?" she asked. I nodded. She exhaled shakily. "Your father lived 2 lives. Maybe more. I don't even know how many anymore." My chest tightened. I'd expected secrets, affairs, maybe lies. But hearing it so plainly still hurt. "He didn't start that way," she continued. "When I met him, he was charming, magnetic, the kind of man who made you feel like you were the only person in the room." A sad smile touched her lips. "But he was also broken. And he used people's love to fill the holes in himself." The words hit like a punch. "Mom, the woman who called me, who is she?" She flinched. "That woman," she whispered, "was supposed to be his future before me. He promised her everything. Marriage, a home, a family." My pulse thudded painfully. "So he loved her?" Mom shook her head.
No.
"He needed her. It's different." I swallowed. "She said he had a daughter with her." Her eyes dropped to her lap. "That part is true." A hollow ache spread through me. "Why didn't he ever tell me?" Her voice broke. "Because he abandoned them." The words echoed. Abandoned. Past tense.
Permanent.
"He walked away," she continued. "And when he did, he didn't just leave a child without a father. He left that woman shattered. Angry. Obsessed." A cold shiver ran through me. "Obsessed with what?" I whispered. "Getting him back." My heart kicked hard against my ribs. "Mom, did she come after him?" She pressed her lips together, like she was holding something in place. "She followed us, called the house, showed up at his work, slipped letters under our door. It got bad enough that we moved states." My skin prickled. "And your father," she hesitated. "He was not innocent." He kept responding. He kept the door open. My stomach twisted. "You mean he was still involved with her?" Her eyes filled. "He couldn't let her go. And he couldn't let her have him." I leaned back, breath stolen from me. "Mom, why didn't you tell me any of this?" Her answer came out in a whisper I'll never forget. Because your father made me promise to protect you from his mistakes. Even if it meant lying. The room went quiet. Then she looked at me with a fear that made my blood run cold. And now she wants you, she whispered. Not to love you. Not to know you. Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. But to hurt him through you. My pulse stuttered. Mom. She told me he never broke a promise to her. My mother's face shattered. He broke every promise he ever made to her. I exhaled. And just as I stood from the table, ready to leave for the meeting, Mom grabbed my wrist, nails digging in slightly. Listen to me, she said, voice shaking. Whatever she tells you today, whatever she shows you, remember this, your father was complicated. Not evil. Not perfect. But human. I nodded slowly. But inside, I wasn't sure anything about him was human anymore. I wasn't planning to meet any of them before seeing the woman. But at 8:12 a.m., less than an hour before the meeting, I got a message from Aaron. I'm outside. Please come out. 5 minutes. That's all. I looked through the living room blinds and froze. A woman stood beside a dented silver Toyota, hands shoved in her jacket pockets, shoulders tense, eyes scanning the street like she expected someone to jump out of the bushes. She looked normal. Nothing like the chaos she'd been dropping into my life for the last 24 hours. Mom hovered behind me, voice tight. Don't you dare. But I was already grabbing my jacket. I need to hear their side too, I said quietly. Her face fell, and for a heartbeat I thought she might collapse. But she didn't stop me. Not this time. The air outside was cold and sharp, the kind that wakes every nerve in your body. Erin spotted me walking down the driveway, and her breath caught, just slightly. God, she looked like Dad. Same eyes, same crooked mouth, same way of holding her chin, defensive but proud. She stepped closer. Hey, she said softly.
I'm Erin.
I swallowed hard. Yeah, I know. We stared at each other for a moment too long. She looked like she was memorizing my face. I didn't know what I was doing, breathing, maybe, barely. You look like our father, she said. I was thinking the same about you. She huffed a small, bitter laugh. Lucky us. I didn't know what to say to that, so she filled the silence. Listen, she said, lowering her voice. I didn't come to talk about DNA or childhoods or who got what. I came because you're about to walk into something you're not ready for. My chest tightened. You mean her? She nodded once. Her. What do you know about her? Erin rubbed her hands together, like warming them would keep the fear away. She isn't reaching out because she wants the truth. She's reaching out because she wants revenge. I felt a cold knot form under my ribs. That's what my mom said. Well, she said quietly, your mom wasn't lying. She glanced at my house, at the window where Mom was watching, then back at me. You think Dad just abandoned her? No. She made his life hell for years. She scared off his friends, threatened his coworkers, stalked his family. And when none of that worked, her voice dropped. She went after us. My breath hitched. Us. The kids, Erin whispered. Not physically, emotionally, manipulating, lying, telling us Dad loved us but couldn't be with us because of your mom. Or telling us he hated us because we ruined his life. Whatever story got her what she wanted that day. My stomach twisted. And what did she want? Erin met my eyes with a look I'll never forget. Power. A gust of wind cut between us. She wanted to control every narrative around him. Every relationship. Every version of the man he used to be. And she will do the same to you if you let her. I swallowed. Why me? Why not you? Erin hesitated. Because you were the one he stayed with. The one he raised. The one he chose. The words hit hard. But, she added, voice trembling slightly, that doesn't mean you know everything about him. Something in her tone made my skin prickle. What do you mean? She dug into her jacket pocket and pulled out a small folded photo. Look, she said. I unfolded it and felt my throat close. That, standing beside a girl around 7. Aaron. But the look on his face. Not loving. Not fatherly. Fear. Pure fear. Aaron watched my reaction, her eyes softening. You see it, don't you? I nodded, heart pounding. Your father wasn't just running from mistakes, she whispered. He was running from something much worse. I looked at her, voice small. From her. Aaron's jaw tightened. He was running from all of us. Before I could ask anything else, she stepped back. I have to go. But please, don't go to that meeting alone. And then she said something that chilled me straight through. She's been waiting for you. For years. I didn't go to the meeting. Not yet. Aaron's words, he was running from all of us, looped in my head as I walked back inside. My chest was tight, my thoughts loud. Mom was pacing the hallway, waiting. Well? She demanded. What did she say? I didn't answer. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how. I brushed past her and went straight to Dad's office. It smelled like dust, old paper, and settling secrets. There was a weight to the room that felt different now, heavier, like it knew I was coming. Mom followed me to the doorway, but she didn't step inside. Don't do this, she whispered. Please. But if there was a false bottom in Dad's drawer, like the woman said, I needed to see it for myself. I sat at his desk, pulled open the top drawer, and started feeling around the edges. Nothing at first, just pens, paper clips, an old pair of glasses he refused to replace even when the screw kept falling out. Then my thumb grazed something different. A seam. My heart slammed. I pressed it. A thin wooden panel popped up. Mom made a sound in her throat. A break, a plea, a warning. Please, she said again, voice small. Some things don't need to be found. But I lifted the panel anyway. Inside was a stack of old photographs bound with a rotting rubber band, a small metal key, and a folded letter yellowed with age. My fingers shook as I lifted the photos first. Dad at 20-something, arm wrapped around a woman with dark hair and stormy eyes. The woman from the picture she'd sent me. The one she claimed he never stopped loving. I swallowed hard and flipped to the next one. Dad holding a toddler. Not me. Not Aaron. Not any of the 7 matches I'd seen. Another child. Another life. My chest tightened painfully. How many kids did he have? I whispered. Mom closed her eyes. I don't know. I didn't believe her. Not fully. I kept flipping. Dad in a hospital room with the same woman, looking exhausted, hollow. Dad sitting on a couch with 2 small children. Dad outside a house I didn't recognize. Then a photo that made my stomach drop to the floor. Dad at a playground, glancing over his shoulder as if checking for someone behind him. Eyes wide, tense, almost scared. Aaron had been right. There was fear in his expression. Fear of who? Fear of what? Mom, I said quietly. What was he running from? She leaned her head against the doorframe, defeated. His past, she whispered. And the people tied to it. People who didn't want to let go. Her? Yes, she said. But not just her. My blood chilled. Before I could ask what that meant, something slipped out from between the photos. A picture I hadn't seen yet. I picked it up. My hands froze. It was Dad. Older. Tired. Holding a baby in a hospital blanket. Dated only 6 years ago. I blinked. 6 years. That was long after he married Mom. Long after I was born. Long after we'd moved states to avoid the woman. Mom. I whispered. What is this? Her voice broke. I don't know. But I could tell by the tremor in her eyes. She did. She absolutely did. And she was terrified I finally knew. I put the photos down and reached for the letter. It was brittle, the paper thin enough to tear if I breathed wrong. I unfolded it carefully. The handwriting was unmistakably Dad's. If you're reading this, it means I failed. My heart slammed so hard I felt dizzy. I kept reading, breath tightening with each line. There are things I didn't tell you. Things I couldn't. You were just a child. You didn't need my sins. But they were never gone. They were waiting. A cold ripple crawled across my skin. She'll come for you someday. She'll say she wants peace. She never does. My throat closed. Do not meet her alone. My breath stuttered. And whatever she tells you, whatever she shows you, remember this. I tried. God help me, I tried. That was the end.
No signature. No explanation.
Just a broken father's final warning. I stared at the letter, pulse hammering so hard I could hear it in my skull. Mom stepped forward, voice trembling. You understand now, she whispered. Don't you? I lifted my eyes. I understand one thing, I said. She waited. He was scared of her. She closed her eyes. Yes, I swallowed. But what about the others? Her eyes snapped open, fear flashing through them. The others? She repeated. The people you said weren't just her. She backed up a step. I shouldn't have said that. Mom, I said, standing now, heart pounding. What aren't you telling me? Before she could answer, buzz. My phone lit up in my pocket. I pulled it out slowly. A text from the woman. You're late. Another immediately after. I hope you found the drawer. My breath caught. She knew. She knew what I'd just opened. Then a third message. Bring the key. You'll need it. I looked down at the metal key still sitting in the false bottom. Mom whispered, voice hollow. Oh God, she knows. I stared at the phone, the photos, the key. And for the first time, it hit me. This woman wasn't just connected to Dad's past. She was already inside my present. I didn't leave the house right away. Not because I didn't want answers, but because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The key sat on the desk like a threat. The photos felt radioactive. And the woman's newest text hovered on my screen like a shadow creeping under the door. Bring the key. You'll need it. Need it for what? I stared at Dad's letter again, reading the last lines over and over. She'll come for you someday. Do not meet her alone. I tried. Tried what? To protect me? To shield us? To hide a life that was already unraveling before I was born? Mom stood in the doorway, gripping the frame as if the whole house were tilting. You can still choose not to go, she said quietly. You can still walk away from all of this. I shook my head. I think it's too late. Her eyes filled. Please don't say that. But it was true. The moment I opened that drawer, the moment she texted me knowing exactly what I'd found, any illusion of safety cracked wide open. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. This time not from her. From the group chat of half-siblings. Liam, we need to talk. All of us. Aaron, he can't. She already texted him again. Maria, tell him to block her. Tom, that won't matter. She always finds a way. Liam, don't bring the key. Aaron, Liam, I'm serious. Do not bring the key. Maria, why? Liam, because it opens something. Liam, and whatever's inside, none of us are ready for it. My heartbeat slammed. Me, what does it open? A long pause. Too long. Then, Liam, our father wasn't running from her. Liam, he was running from what she knew. Liam, about him. Liam, about all of us. I felt sweat prick at the back of my neck. Me, what does she know? The typing bubble appeared, then vanished. Appeared, vanished again. Finally, Liam, something that could destroy all of us. Liam, don't go there alone. Please. My stomach twisted. I glanced at Mom. What does the key open? Her eyes widened with something between panic and regret. I don't know, she whispered. Mom. She shook her head harder. I don't know. But the way she said it, the slight break, the flicker of guilt, told me she wasn't being entirely honest. I stepped closer. Mom, did Dad keep something locked away? Something dangerous? She shut her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. There was a box, she whispered. A metal one. He hid it years ago. I never saw what was inside. Where? She opened her eyes, terrified. I don't know. Mom. She blinked rapidly, chest rising in short, panicked breaths. He told me if I ever found it, I should destroy it. My skin crawled. Why? Because, she whispered. He said it held the worst parts of him. I needed air. I left the office, pushing out the front door and stepping onto the porch. The sky was overcast, low gray clouds drifting like heavy thoughts overhead. The air smelled like rain was coming. 7 half-siblings. One unhinged woman from his past. A baby in a photo from 6 years ago. A locked box with a key he hid in a false drawer. And a father who wrote a letter assuming he'd fail. How do you reconcile that with the man who taught you to ride a bike? Who made pancakes on Sundays? Who hugged you every morning before school like it might be the last time? My mind was spiraling when a car rolled slowly up to the curb. A black sedan. Tinted windows. It stopped. Engine still running. My breath caught. Someone was in there. Watching. I stepped back toward the door. The back window rolled down 2 inches. Just enough for a voice to slip out. A woman's voice. Soft.
Familiar.
Too calm. Don't be afraid. My blood iced. I didn't have to see her face. I knew exactly who it was. The woman from the phone. From the messages. From Dad's photos. She had come to me. Please, she said gently. I only want to talk. My chest pounded. Why are you here? A soft exhale. Because you weren't coming to the meeting. And I can't wait anymore. Why not? Another pause. Then, your father owed me something. My voice cracked. What? You. The air disappeared from my lungs. She continued before I could speak. He promised you'd come find me. Eventually. He promised you'd want answers. I stepped back again. I'm not going anywhere with you. She laughed lightly. Oh, sweetheart. I don't need you to come with me. I just need you to listen. My hand shook as I gripped the doorknob. Your father lived many lives, she whispered. But there was one he never told you about. My pulse thudded unevenly. What life? She leaned closer, voice dropping to a chilling whisper. The one he built to replace me. I felt my stomach drop. Let me help you understand who he really was, she said. Why he was so afraid. Why he ran. My hand tightened on the doorknob. And why, she added softly. He kept that box hidden from everyone, except you. I froze. How do you know about the box? A tiny smile curled in her voice. Because I'm the reason he made it. I felt cold all over. He left something inside it for me, she continued. Something he stole. I swallowed. What did he steal? The window rolled down a little further. I saw the outline of her silhouette. Her voice turned razor-soft. My daughter. The world tilted. My breath caught in my throat. And before I could ask, before I could think, she added one final line. And she's not one of the 7. I don't remember unlocking the front door. I don't remember stepping inside. I only remember Mom's voice. Sharp, panicked, rushing toward me the moment the door slammed behind me. What happened? Who was that car? Did she? She was here, I whispered. Mom's face drained of color. No, she breathed. Not again. Not at this house. I backed into the hallway wall, heart pounding so hard it hurt. She said Dad took something from her? I managed. She said he stole her daughter. Mom shook her head, trembling. She's lying. That woman lies like she breathes. Mom, I said. She knew about the box. She knew about the key. She knew I wasn't coming to the meeting. How would she know all of that? Mom sank into a chair, hands covering her face. Because she's been watching you, she whispered. The room tilted. No, I said. You're exaggerating. But she shook her head again, frantic, terrified. She showed up at Dad's funeral. Every muscle in my body tightened. What? Mom lifted her eyes, tears streaking down her cheeks. She stood behind the trees near the cemetery fence. I saw her. Same dark coat, same hair, Same expression she used to have when she'd watch him. Like he belonged to her. A cold shiver crawled up my spine. Why didn't you tell me? Because you had just lost your father. You were barely holding yourself together. I thought, if I could keep her away long enough, maybe she'd give up. I shook my head slowly. She doesn't give up. No, Mom whispered. She doesn't. I sank into the chair across from her. What did Dad do to her? I asked. What happened between them? Mom swallowed. It wasn't just an affair. It was an entire life he built with her before me. And when he left, he didn't just walk away from a relationship. He walked away from the future she thought she owned. My stomach twisted. And the daughter? Mom closed her eyes. That girl wasn't just his child. She was her anchor, her leverage, everything. A sharp breath left me. And Dad took her? He didn't take her, Mom said firmly. He protected her. There's a difference. I blinked. Protected her from what? Mom hesitated too long, too carefully. From growing up with a mother who weaponized love. Those words hit like a cold wave. But something didn't add up. If Dad protected her, where is she now? Why hasn't her DNA shown up with ours? Mom wiped her cheeks. Because she was never in the system.
Ist here.
You know where she is. Mom froze. No, she whispered, but her eyes said otherwise. Before I could push, my phone buzzed on the table. I flinched. Mom flinched. I turned it over with trembling fingers. One new message. From the woman. A photo. My breath caught in my throat. It was the funeral. My father's funeral. The angle from behind a cluster of trees. Exactly where Mom said. And in the corner of the frame, a small figure. A girl, maybe 10, holding the woman's hand. My heart slammed so hard it hurt. The message beneath the photo read, "She asked about you that day." My vision blurred. Mom pressed a hand to her mouth, horror carved into her face. Another message came instantly. She'd like to meet her brother. My breath shattered. Mom, I whispered. She's not lying. Mom shook her head violently. You cannot go. You cannot trust anything she says. But I was staring at the little girl's face. Dark eyes, tense mouth, hair pulled into a ponytail. She didn't look like the woman. She didn't look like Dad. She looked like... My gut twisted. Mom watched me, fear radiating off her. Don't say it, she whispered. Please don't say it. But the truth was forming in my chest like a bruise. Mom, I said, voice barely audible. Is that girl even hers? Mom's expression broke. She's not supposed to exist, she whispered. The floor felt like it dropped. And then, a knock, slow, deliberate, at our front door. Mom's eyes widened in terror. She found the house. The knock wasn't loud. That was somehow worse. A soft, steady tapping, like someone who already knew we were inside. Someone who wasn't in a hurry. Someone who expected us to open the door. Mom froze in the hallway, her breath caught in her throat. No, she whispered. No, no, no. She can't be here. My pulse hammered. I stepped quietly toward the window beside the door, lifted the curtain just half an inch. A woman, standing perfectly still. Not the same coat. Not the same hair. Not the woman from the car. A different woman. Younger. Late 20s. Dark jacket. Hands in her pockets. Eyes scanning the porch with this eerie calm. She didn't look like she belonged to my father's past. She looked like someone hired. Someone sent. Mom grabbed my arm. Back away, she whispered. Do not let her see you. She already knows we're here. I whispered back. Another knock. 3 slow taps. Then a fourth. A deliberate pattern. My phone buzzed in my hand. A text. From the woman I'd been communicating with. Do not open the door. My breath stuttered. Mom's eyes flicked to the phone. Is it her? She whispered. I nodded. Another text appeared instantly. That's not me. Every hair on my body rose. The woman outside knocked again, harder this time. Mom pushed me back from the door, voice trembling. "We need to call the police." Before she could reach for the phone on the counter, my cell buzzed again. New number. Unknown. "Let me in. I just want to talk." I looked toward the door. The woman outside hadn't moved. She was staring straight at the peephole. My blood turned to ice. Mom yanked me further into the hallway. "She's not with her," she whispered. "It's someone else. Someone worse." I swallowed hard. Worse than who? Worse than the woman from Dad's past. Mom shook her head. "She's not the one I'm scared of." The knocking stopped. Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow. Measured. Walking off the porch. Mom slumped against the wall, letting out a shaky breath. But the dread didn't leave my chest. Settled deeper. I walked back toward Dad's office, needing answers. Real ones. The letter wasn't enough. The photos weren't enough. And the daughter from nowhere raised more questions than it answered. Mom called after me. I didn't stop. I dropped to my knees and dug deeper into the false drawer compartment, pressing along every corner, searching for anything else he might have hidden. My fingers hit something, a latch I hadn't noticed. I pulled. A second panel slid open with a soft scrape. My breath hitched. Inside was a thin black file, wrapped in weathered twine. Mom gasped behind me.
No.
"Please don't." But my hands were already untying it. Photos, documents, newspaper clippings. I shuffled through them, breath trembling. A police report, 30 years old. A missing child. A girl. Same first name as the child from the funeral photo. My heart thudded painfully. Another document. A custody battle filed by the woman from the phone. Dropped suddenly.
No explanation.
A third paper, a court order. My father's name. Her name. A sealed agreement. My hands shook as I flipped to the last page. A DNA test. My father. The woman. A child. But under the mother field, the name was not hers. My throat tightened. No wonder the woman kept saying he stole her daughter. No wonder Mom said he was protecting the girl. No wonder she'd been hunting him for decades. The girl wasn't biologically hers. Not at all. She had claimed someone else's child. A child who was connected to my father. But the real punch hit when I saw the final detail. Sibling probability, 99.98%. My breath shattered. The girl wasn't just connected to my father. She was connected to me, my sister. Not a half-sister, a full sister. And she wasn't one of the 7 matches because Dad never added her name. Never registered her. Never allowed her to be found. Mom whispered behind me. He knew they'd come for her, so he hid her. He hid her better than he hid anything. My head spun. The woman who'd contacted me, she didn't want revenge. She wanted the child back. A child who wasn't hers to begin with. A child Dad stole from her? Or rescued from her. The pieces weren't fitting. They were colliding. Before I could speak, Mom's head snapped toward the window. God, she's back. My phone buzzed. A photo. The woman from the phone. Standing on the sidewalk. Waiting. A message beneath it. Choose who you believe. Choose fast. I don't remember grabbing my jacket. I don't remember Mom shouting my name. I only remember the way the air felt as I stepped outside. Too still, too heavy, like the world was holding its breath. The woman stood at the end of the driveway, hands folded in front of her like she was waiting for a bus instead of the truth that could rip a family apart. She didn't smile, didn't move, just watched me walk toward her, each step echoing louder than it should. When I reached her, she tilted her head slightly. "You found the file," she said. Not a question. A certainty. I swallowed hard. "Who is she?" Her eyes softened just a flicker. "My daughter. She's my sister," I said. She didn't deny it. But she didn't confirm it either. Instead, she stepped closer. "Do you know what he did to me?"
No. Y whisperat.
"But I know he wasn't innocent." Her expression cracked. Anger, grief, memory, all tangled. Innocent? She said softly. He wasn't innocent, but he wasn't a monster either. She looked down the street, her voice lowering. Your father saved her. I won't pretend otherwise. I wasn't well then. I wasn't safe. Not for myself. Not for her. My throat tightened. So why are you here now? She met my eyes. Because he promised me that when he died, someone would tell me where she was. Her voice wavered. And no one did. I stepped back. You think I know? You're the one he trusted, she whispered. He didn't trust your mother. He didn't trust the others. He trusted you. A hollow ache spread through my chest. Where is she? She asked. I shook my head. I don't know. A flash of something crossed her face. Fear? Hope? Regret? Before either of us could speak again, a car turned onto the street. A silver Toyota. Erin. She pulled up fast, jumped out before the engine stopped. Don't talk to her, Erin said, grabbing my arm. You don't know what she did. What she almost. The woman's voice cracked open, raw and shaking. I'm not here to hurt him, Erin scoffed. You always say that. I just want to see her, the woman whispered. One time, Erin stepped between us. She's not yours. She never was. The woman's face twisted, not anger, pain. She grew inside me, she said quietly. And Dad raised her. Erin shot back. He protected her from you. My mind spun. Two versions. Two truths. Two wounds carved from the same man. I lifted a hand. Stop, I said. Both of you. They turned to me. I need to know something, I said. And I need both of you to answer. I pulled the black file from my jacket. Not the whole thing, just the last page. The DNA report. I held it up. Who is her mother? Erin's jaw clenched. The woman blinked, tears gathering. The truth, I said. Right now. A long, suffocating silence settled over the street. Then the woman spoke. She has two mothers. I froze. Erin stepped forward. Don't start. No, the woman said, voice steady now. He changed the records. He changed everything. He rewrote parts of her life to keep her safe. Her voice trembled. From me. From them. From himself.
Esther here.
Why would he do that? She swallowed hard. Because the girl you saw at the funeral isn't just your sister. Time slowed. She's yours, the woman whispered. My lungs locked. What? I breathed. She's your daughter. The world detonated in silence. Erin's face drained of blood. My heart thrashed violently. The file slipped from my hands onto the pavement. That's not possible, I whispered. She was born 6 years ago, the woman said. The same year your father disappeared for 3 weeks. The same year he showed up with a baby and said she needed a home. My knees nearly buckled. No, I said. No, I couldn't have. The woman stepped closer. She is not your biological daughter. He changed the file to hide her. My breath broke out in a shaking exhale. Why would he lie like that? I whispered. She looked at me with eyes full of a grief I didn't understand. Because he wanted you to protect her the way he did, she said. He wanted someone who would love her without knowing where she came from, without fear, without judgment. Erin whispered beside me, voice trembling. He was grooming a guardian. The woman nodded, tears falling now. She's not my daughter. She's not your full sister. She's not anyone's blood. She's a child he rescued from something terrible. Something he never told anyone. The air left my lungs. Where is she? I whispered. The woman shook her head. I don't know. Erin turned to me. You need to open the box. My pulse hammered violently. What's inside it? I asked. Erin's voice was barely audible. The truth he couldn't bring himself to say. The woman looked at me, eyes hollow. And the danger that's still coming for her. My stomach dropped. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Picture. A small house. A wooden porch. A child's backpack hanging on a chair. A caption. If you're done searching for the past, come find the future. My vision blurred. The sender was a new number. No name. Just one word. Her. My heart stopped. We all stared at the screen. And the final message came through. She's waiting for you. Some truths don't free you. They choose you. And now, she had chosen me.